When I hear hack, I think thrown together, last minute solution that's untested, a solution that we didn't think would work, a solution that worked through like brute force and just forcing it and making it happen, a solution that worked but isn't appealing. And I want you to think, does that apply to keto? Is keto a weight loss hack? It frustrates me that people try to say that the reason keto works is because it's a hack. Keto definitely isn't untested. PubMed has 5,892 articles. So that means that there's, at minimum, that many research papers that were written about the keto diet. But just because you've written a research paper about keto doesn't mean that it was in favor or against keto. I'm just talking about the actual number of times that keto is appearing in a research document. So that tells us that scientists are actually interested in this topic and that they're trying to figure out what it is and how to understand it better. Now, is keto a solution that you need to force to work? So most people who do keto correctly and consistently report easy weight loss. Most people who do keto report no more cravings. And if I'm not having cravings, that means I'm not eating junk food. If I'm not eating junk food, it probably means my health, my weight and health are going to improve. Most people who do keto report improved overall health. We're talking about your entire body, right? So your weight improves, mental clarity improves, energy gets better. I actually had more energy than I had before. And that sounds like a weird thing to say because I was sleeping and I was eating. And according to the doctors and nutritionists, I was eating the healthiest possible energy source, right? I was eating carbohydrates when I was doing my standard Canadian diet. I was eating like 350 grams of carbs every day. But yet I switched to keto and I had more energy. Let's let that sink in for a second. If keto is the preferred energy source of the body, how does it happen that I switch to the not preferred fat, mostly energizing my body, and I have more energy? I had less pain. And being a person that has been in pain since 22, 23-ish, because that's when my joint pain began, the fact that really quickly on a ketogenic diet, my joint pain just fell away. But even better, that my joints healed. So what that means is I now walk around, I now pick up stuff, I now do things with my arms, legs, back, neck, all my body. I climb, some of you might know. So I do bouldering, which is climbing walls that have attachments on them. And I'm able to do that. Means my joints are actually working now compared to 5.5-ish years ago. I couldn't step up on the sidewalk curb. My right hip was in that much pain. So that's a huge difference, right? A lot of people have improvements in headaches, so they'll improve no longer having headaches all the time. A lot of people report emotional stability. I can tell you that my skin, so I had calluses on my hands, and my hands were really dry and not looking good all the time, and they're fine today. I also noticed that the sensitivity that I used to have in my teeth that the doctor prescribed special toothpaste for me to use. Some of you might use Sensodyne, but if you have it really bad, you get like this, they prescribe it to you to like make your teeth less sensitive. And I didn't like that particular toothpaste, but I did buy the Sensodyne, and I've actually stopped using Sensodyne. My teeth feel fine today. No more sensitivity. I no longer have the tinnitus that I had in my ears. It went away. No more tinnitus. So my health actually improved, as many people's do. But the other thing is keto a solution that we don't believe would work? And I think that most people do not believe that eating vegetables, rice, and fruit is what's causing our weight gain. Most people don't believe that. I think that they believe that eating those things is really, really healthy. I think that most people believe that eating fat will cause you to gain weight. And so they don't believe that there's any way that you could lose weight on this kind of diet. Most people believe that your arteries are going to get clogged and you're going to have some kind of heart attack, or that you're going to have other health issues, that fat is going to raise your blood cholesterol and it's going to be really bad for you. And a lot of people believe all these things about keto, like the fact that you can't do keto if you don't like eating fat, because we all know that on a keto diet, you have to increase the amount of fat you eat to large amounts. You have to wrap everything in bacon. You have to add fat on top of your chicken breast. And because you need to do all this extra fat bombs, we need to make fat bombs, eat fat bombs. Because we need to do all these things, most people don't believe that keto can help you to lose weight, and that they can do it because they can't eat all that fat. Like, it's just gross, right? Like eating fat all the time. And most doctors don't believe that you could sustain a keto diet long term. Most doctors think that you're going to need to eat carbohydrates, right? Because you need those micronutrients, because you're not going to be able to resist eating like everyone else also, so that it's not sustainable to do a keto lifestyle. Is keto a solution that worked, but that was unappealing? I'm going to say, yes, it was unappealing. But the question is, I have missed something. Oh, okay, I'm ahead of myself. Let's do one more slide. Is keto a diet that worked that was unappealing? And I think the answer to that is absolutely yes. It's yes, but who is it unappealing to? And this is the tricky one, wellness warriors. I think that food companies don't believe that keto is an appealing option, because if I eat a healthy ketogenic diet, I'm not eating the fast food, junk foods that food companies want me to make, and so they're going to lose money. And I think that doctors don't believe that it's an appealing option. As I said earlier, they don't think that we can stick to it. They believe that we need these micronutrients from fruits and vegetables. But also, if everybody's healthy, then they're not going to make money. And pharmaceutical companies, I believe, also see keto as not the healthiest, not the best, not option. It might be the healthiest, but they don't see it as the best option, because pharmaceutical companies want us to use their products, and we're not going to use their products if we are healthy. But what about the average person? You and me. What about the average person, right? you and I, we actually find keto unappealing. We want to eat fun foods, first of all, knowing that those fun foods are causing our poor health. We want to eat them anyways. And part of the reason that we want this is that we feel like everybody else over there is eating these fun foods and they're doing fine. So I should be able to eat these fun foods and do fine. And so part of the problem that's happening there is that we have a misunderstanding of what good health is. Or maybe the misunderstanding is that we are only focused on weight and not on good health. So there's two problems happening there. We keep expecting that our body is going to do what we tell it to do rather than do what makes sense with the food that we give it. So we feed high carbohydrate foods and expect our body to stay thin. Now, for the average person, I understand that that's also happening because we were not aware prior to these kind of conversations. We were not aware that high carbohydrate foods equal weight gain, equal poor health, equal I'm diabetic or have heart disease or have problems that take me away from my family before I reach old age. We were not aware. But now that we are aware, why is it that we still want to eat fun foods more so than the healthy foods that we know exist? And part of the problem is we want easy meals. And this is not a case of I'm saying we're lazy, because that's not what this is. Again, we look back out into the world and we see so many people who seem to be able to be thin and at a healthy weight, and we are not at a healthy weight. And we're trying to do what they're doing, not realizing the bigger picture, because you can be thin but have internal metabolic damage that is shortening your lifespan. And we're not thinking about that because we are looking only at weight. So this desire that we have, wanting to be like everyone else, even though the people who are thin, very, very likely, have other metabolic health issues, so internal health issues. When I was fat, you could see what my body was doing with the food. But when you're thin, we can't see what your body is doing with the food. But how many thin people do we know who end up with other health problems? The most common one being, PCOS. And there's a lot of people talking about other problems that are so PCOS for women. Men are now having problems with testosterone levels, and there's so many issues that are happening that are related. Everybody's having emotional issues. There's so many issues that are related to hormone levels, thyroid, and that we don't really look at as a reason to eat better, even though we should definitely be looking at them as a reason to eat better. Now, as I said earlier, companies, they want to make money. There's no money in a solution to obesity that's just saying, hey guys, eat healthy food. But when the people who will benefit from eating healthy refuse to do it, companies take that as permission to continue to feed more garbage foods to us, so garbage foods. They take that as permission to give us Band-Aid drugs instead of solving the problem at the root, which is what we're eating. And they do surgeries that are not necessary instead of solving the problem at the root, because we are telling them that we want the easy answer rather than the healthy one. And is this what's actually best for us? So excess weight is a sign that we have metabolic damage, by the way. So I had insulin resistance. I know I had insulin resistance because I was 70 pounds overweight. Insulin resistance is the beginning, so the pathway to diabetes, but it's also the pathway to many other medical issues. For example, they are now saying that so type 2 diabetes, right? Insulin resistance is a precursor to that. However, type 3 diabetes, which is like they're calling all that mental dementia, like brain not working properly, Alzheimer's, they're calling that another pathway from insulin. And then we have all the medical, physical. So if calling keto a hack means that people can discount it, right? Because it's just a trick. It's just a way to fool my body into, right? And if I call keto a hack and I give people this impression that it really is just a way of tricking my body into losing weight, then that means that food companies and doctors and medical companies that are producing pharmaceuticals and creating new surgeries, they're just going to keep giving us these Band-Aid solutions because we are the ones that keep eating garbage, eating the junk food, eating the fast food, and they feel justified. But I want you to consider that back in 1960, in this chart, you can see that 14% of people were obese. So if you add that red line and that blue line together, which is red is obese and blue is severely obese. So anybody who has a BMI of 30 or more is considered obese. So just to put some perspective on that, if you're 5'5", a female at 5'5", I should say, you weigh 180, you are considered obese. So it's not hard to get to that number. And the numbers have been increasing, as you can see from this chart, consistently. In 1988, we were up to 25% of people in the US, being obese. In 2005, which is the year that my daughter was born, 41% of people were obese. And by the time that this chart ends, in 2018, 52% of people were obese. That, Wellness Warrior, is more than half of the population. So this isn't about looks or fashion. This is a reflection of our decision to eat more processed foods than whole foods because processed foods are easier and taste delicious. Wellness Warrior, can I tell you that I was shocked when I found out that I liked avocado? I was shocked. And I never would have believed that I could have been a person that would like the taste of avocado, because honestly, it used to taste like grass to me in my food history. Ever get a piece of grass in your mouth? It's like, oh, that's what avocado used to be when I would think about it. Like, oh my gosh, how do people eat that grass? Because it has an earthy flavor to it. I mean, if you ever had avocado, I'm not making this up. But what's interesting to me today, now that I love it, is that if you stop eating all the processed garbage and allow your taste buds to reset, normal, whole foods that aren't processed taste delicious. And those delicious whole foods fuel your body without creating damage. Why don't we want this? To fuel our body, to build our body without creating damage. Somehow, And companies are paying attention because we're giving them the signal. But I want to go back to the fact that sugar in large amounts causes inflammation and metabolic damage because sugar in large amounts is toxic. And we try to fool ourselves that we don't eat large amounts of sugar. But in fact, our body in our body we have blood, and our blood contains all the accessible, no, I'm wrong. Our blood is passing sugar through our body so that it can be accessible, right? We need to be able to get some sugar quickly. There's 5 grams of sugar in our bloodstream at any point in time, which is about 1 teaspoon. And even if we eat just 1 gram of carbs, our insulin kicks in to save us from the incoming sugar. So when you eat 1 gram of carb, insulin is going to moderate that, right? It's going to put it away. It's going to make sure that you don't get your blood above 5. Your blood cannot get above 5. And we're not allowing ourselves to understand that and what it really means that that's true. So if I had a glass of water on my beautiful wood desk here, and it's room temperature, so it's not making any rings, but if the water gets on my desk, it's going to damage my desk, and it's filled to the brim, can't take another drop, like our blood. And then I pour 1 teaspoon of water in there, what's going to happen? All over my desk. Right? It's too much. Well, guess what? When we do that to our body, it's too much. And what does our body say? Okay, I'm going to put this away for you, Violet. And where was my body putting it? It was putting it in fat storage. It was putting it in places that were going to keep me safe. Our body makes all the sugar that we need, but yet we keep adding extra sugar. So the question is limiting our carb intake to less than 20 grams of carbs a day a hack when our body makes all the sugar that we need? Obviously not. It's a healthy decision to minimize the potential damage that we could be doing to our body by eating large amounts of carbohydrate. Like what I said, I was eating 350 grams of carbs a day. My body saved me by making me fat. Yes, that's what it did. It saved me. Some people's bodies don't make them fat. It's still trying to save you. It's just saving you by putting the sugar in other places. Unfortunately, those other places are more dangerous than obesity. Wellness warrior, we don't want to understand that that's true. Keto isn't a weight loss hack. It's a way to maintain the healthiest possible body by being mindful of what you put in your mouth. Because if I understand that carbohydrates is what's causing the problem, then I would understand that putting more than my body can manage into me is dangerous. Now, you might ask, well, then how come we can eat 20 grams of carbs? Good question. In reality, if I eat any carbohydrate, my body does the process of taking that sugar and putting it in fat storage. At the same time, having some fat storage is advantageous to the body. And so therefore, it's okay for us to have some fat storage. So the process, when we do it at very low rate, so 20 grams, what happens is that we eat that 20 grams or less. The sugar that comes in gets stored away. And over the course of the day, when we are working out or even just living our everyday lives, because you'd be surprised how much energy your base metabolic rate, like that number that we see, if we're going to talk about that calorie number that we see, 2,000 some odd calories, whatever, that's actually what your body, 80% of that is what your body uses, I think, or 70% at rest. just to function, just to keep you breathing and circulate. 70% of that number. So when we're throwing that number down to 1,500 to 1,200, we are creating a panicked state in our body. And this is what causes your body to force you, not even just push you, encourage you, force you to only see food and only want food. And we saw that when Ansel Keys did that research, when he took those people and he locked them away and they decreased their calorie intake by, I think it was 20%. They became obsessed with food. Obsessed. All they could think about. They weren't fasting. They were eating too few calories, energy, whatever you want to call it, for their body to maintain itself, and their body went into a panic. When you fast, your body understands, oh, we didn't eat anything. Fine. When you do that to your body where you're eating but just not enough, it freaks it out and it makes it think that we're in some kind of rationing state. And that's not good. If you'd like to have an idea of what 20 grams of carbs looks like, there's a video that you can check out in the description because it's going to help you to see what these numbers are and how like what would it look like if you tried to eat 20 grams of carbs or less? Because I think that by understanding, first of all, what it looks like to eat 20 grams of carbs, but second of all, by allowing ourselves to look at the numbers and understand, like, where are the extra carbs that we're eating coming from, then we're able to make better decisions about whether or not we continue to believe food companies, doctors, and pharmaceutical companies, I don't know why we would believe them, but we do, about the fact that weight is the thing that we're trying to solve, rather than understanding that what we're really trying to solve is our poor health. And the best way to solve poor health is to actually eat a healthy diet all the time. Now, in order to eat that healthy diet all the time, what you need to do is know what a healthy diet is. And in order to know what a healthy diet is, you need to let yourself look at what you're eating and make a decision. I know that for every person that's in here right now, I know that for most people that are going to watch this on the replay, when we talk about what's healthy to eat, you are fully aware. Chips, cookies, candies, chocolate, ice cream, cake, you know those things are not healthy to eat. That's not where the problem's coming from. The problem's actually coming from when you want to eat out at a restaurant and you're thinking, oh, like French fries is a good vegetable, or you're eating out or even you're eating at home and you're saying, oh, rice is healthy to put on my plate, or quinoa, or like all these grains that could be healthy in the right amounts, but do we ever, first of all, even verify what a serving is of any of these things? Most of the time, we're overeating our servings. But second of all, most of the times we are equating rice with broccoli or quinoa with cabbage. They don't have the same value proposition, but can I point out that none of the vegetables, broccoli, cabbage, quinoa, that's not a vegetable, peppers, potatoes, none of the vegetables have the same value proposition for your body that protein with the fat that comes along with it does, because that's what your body is looking for, because it's the only thing your body cannot make for itself. Your body makes all the sugar you will ever need. If you never put another vegetable in your mouth, another grain in your mouth, you will be fine. If you don't eat protein, you will not be fine. Right? And now you're going to say, but there's protein in vegetables. If you eat protein from vegetables, the amount of sugar that you're getting from that plays a role. If you eat and by the way, it's not a complete protein. So the other problem that I have where people are using protein. So go back to the companies. Oh, they're going to make us this amazingly healthy protein. And they use peas. So when you concentrate peas to get enough protein for what I'm going to need to be a serving, you also concentrate all the harmful elements in the peas, like heavy metals. You also concentrate all the harmful elements in the peas that I wouldn't get if I actually just ate peas, like boil some peas and ate them. I wouldn't get all of that. But concentrating it down to make protein for a human in the amounts that a human needs, it's not the healthy place to get your amino acids. The healthy place to get your amino acids is from animal sources, because fish and other animals, so fish and like animals that walk on the land, make the protein that's similar to what we need. So the complete protein, right? If I eat fish, I get all the amino acids that I need. If I eat beef, I get all the amino acids. If I eat chicken, right? If I eat these things, eggs, I get all the amino acids that I need. I'm not going to get them when I'm eating processed foods or vegetables. Okay. Next week, Monday, another live stream is coming for you. And Friday next week, another live stream coming for you. Video will drop on Friday. And if you're in the squad, you get to watch it early. So the video's already there if you want to go check out the squad and maybe give me your opinion on what my thumbnail should be. I would love to hear your ideas on what that thumbnail should be. So all of that's available to you in the squad right now, early access to the videos. Trying something new. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you very, very soon.